All right, hello guys, and welcome to another episode of the DrEnderPickles Show. Today we have a lot of people. Can you all kind of go down and introduce yourself? I guess we can. Just it doesn't matter what order.
Okay, I will go first. I'm Exalted Spartans. I have been playing on the server for like 6 years, I think, on and off. Yeah, that's me.
I'm kinorana, and I believe I quit last year. I don't really remember. I think it was March of last year is when I last played 2B2T, and I believe we started in 2012.
I'm Jared, 2013. I've been playing for roughly 6 years now, on and off.
Yeah, and Jared's co-hosting today. It's just like a trial run to see how it goes. So yeah, let's hop right into things. I'll start with a question for Exalted. How did you find 2B2T, and what was your beginning on the server like?
So I think I was like back in like 2011 or 2012. I think I first played in 2011, but I didn't play for very long. I used to browse 4chan, and I was on the video games part of it, and someone posted a link to it. I ended up joining, and that was back when there was a static spawn point. So when I first logged in, I think a lot of old players have the experience, but when I first logged in, there were like 3 people in diamond armor just spawn killing. So you just instantly die over and over again. I made it out, and I found a hotel like 1K out or something, and I stayed there. And like, there's a dude there who owned it, I suppose. And I logged out, and then when I logged back in the next day, it had been burned to the ground. So I don't know. I just thought it was really cool. I think I only played for like a little bit at first, and then I came back like 6 months later, and that was when I really started playing. Like, found a group of people to play with.
Kino, what were your beginnings on 2B like?
Sort of in the same vein. I started playing Minecraft when it was an alpha. I remember I played on the 7chan server for quite a bit of time, and that one died out. And I believe it was a post on the 7chan Minecraft board, which I think is now dead, on 2B2T, and that's how I started playing. Yeah, it was on 7chan. They posted a link. I played a little. I don't believe I actually started to get into it. I thought it was really fucking dumb at first, but eventually I did get into consistently playing. I guess the reason why I started playing all the time, because it really was just single player with chat, like a community of people that you kind of talk to every day, you know?
Yeah, and so I want to go back to Exalted now. What are your relations with Jack the Ripper? I know you guys have come in contact throughout your time on 2B2T.
Yeah, I think he's one of the people I keep up with the most, just outside of the game. I think when I first started playing, I think the first person I based with specifically was Brunillan, who just PM'd me one day and was like, I was in chat, he just invited me to come build with him. From there, I met like Snacky North and this guy named a War Guy, and yeah, you remember that?
Yeah, I remember him. I knew of him. I didn't really know him though.
Yeah,
He was a good guy. I remember him vaguely.
Yeah, I have a funny story. I don't want to get too off topic, but I was playing like Mountain Blade like four years later or something. And there's this guy on the server named a War Guy. I'm like, dude, is this you? And it turned out it was him. But anyway, from there, Brunillan introduced me to Jack in like 2011 or 2012. And from there, we moved to the base that was at 4 mil. And that base actually has a pretty inappropriate name that I won't get into. So we'll just leave it at the 4.4 mil base.
Ooh, the lands.
Yeah, there's more to that than just the lands, but we'll just leave it at that.
Hey, Exalted, do you remember? I think it was mid 2013. I was playing 2B2T with my real life friend, and I met you. You were on Rapid Dave, and I was on Dark Joe, and he was on Mail-U, and you invited us to your base. And I built like a giant Satan statue or something.
Yeah, I remember that. I was like, what the fuck is this? I was trying to build like a nice little town, and then I log on, and there's just like this giant obsidian monstrosity of crap. But
Good times.
yeah. But anyway, when we got to the 4.4 mil base, I think that's where I met Kino as well.
It was a bit before that, but
it was a bit before. But we that base had like a core group of like 10 or 12 players that would stick together for like the next couple years. And I still talk to most of those people today. But yeah, it was Jack's base, so Jack was the one nice enough to let me come, and so yeah, I've just been in contact with him, for the longest time.
All right, so Kino, you got this title on 2B2T as 2B2T's blacksmith. What can you say about that title? How you got that?
I can only say that if you say something loud enough, often enough, it'll stick. So that's really it. Do you have anything specific like about the title? Because how I got the title itself was just any way propaganda works. You just say it loud and often, and then people will start to pick up on the idea.
Well, I'm sure you come in contact with a lot of illegals in your time. I mean, you're basically the one that branded them.
Yeah, kind of. There's some story. Like, each illegal has like its own story behind it, and like how I got in possession of it. But the blacksmith name, this goes back to when Valk was first a thing. When Valk was first a thing, I was the one that discovered the minecart dupe during the Valk time, and then I shared it to everyone. And just the propagation of Protect 4 armor and how I branded it was how I got the name, or how I came to call myself, rather. I didn't really get a name that was recognized by a lot of people until a few years ago, the blacksmith.
All right, so my next question is for Exalted. You mentioned earlier that you based out at the lands. What's some of the context around that base, and maybe how you got out there, what you did there, and people that you met?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a really long time since I've been out there, but yeah, I think I was like 16 or something, or like 17, and I had a lot of free time on my hands. Heard it now. So spending like a week and a half walking on the roof like 6 hours a day was not as big of a problem as it was back then. And when I got there, it was actually like really, it wasn't very built yet. Like if you go and look now on museum server, or just if you actually end up traveling there, there's a lot of different parts to it. But at the time, it was just this one central area where there was like, it was all in the desert, and then there was a gold farm, and Jack was working on an iron farm. And some of the people I met out there, I'm like almost 100% sure. I don't know if I met Kino out there, but he was one of the people that came out.
It was a bit before, but yeah, we met out there.
And then there were other players, such as, I mean, obviously Jack and Brunillan.
There's Snacky North,
Snacky North out there.
Who else?
You know Silver was out there? I don't remember exactly.
Silver's new.
Yeah, Silver's new, but I don't think he was out there. He was at Cool Kids Club, I believe. That's when.
Oh, and Zarviar was.
Yeah, Zarviar was one of the original people.
The Lord guy came out there. I think it was 2016 or 2015, though.
Yeah, and.
Yeah, he bed TP'd there. That makes sense. But Pop-Up was also there for like 4 years.
Yeah, I think he.
I remember when that happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
A radical hiccup, but he didn't log in for another 4 years until 2016.
I think he went there in like retaliation for me killing him and just destroyed my bed. So when I got there, or when I died one time, I just ended up at the spawn. I could be like kind of off, but I think that's what happened. And yeah, I think that's it for the most part. I'm sorry if I'm forgetting someone, because there were a couple people out there at least, but that base was like, I mean, it wasn't like 20 mil out, but at the time, that's like a really far from spawn.
Hmm.
So it was able to stay safe for a really long time until like 2015 or 2016, I think.
Like at that point in the game, the nether roof was just recently disabled, so easy traveling was like impossible at the time.
Yeah.
So
It got disabled like shortly after I got there.
yeah.
Bernard was out there, right?
Yes, Brunellen was like
He was
my
one
first
of the
contact.
yeah, founding, I guess not founding members, but I remember he was.
What about Profess?
What's that?
Profess, was he out there?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Not that I remember. Like I can let's see here. We still have our Skype group, I think.
Gee.
I think I haven't logged on to Skype in forever, so I wouldn't really know. But
I always thought that Parthicus's main account was Royal and he just changed the name.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was.
Yeah, Parthicus was known.
yeah, that base was really cool. That was, I don't know if that's my favorite base, but it's probably the most important one that I was ever at, just because of the people I met there. Like you'll never like find us as like a group on the wiki or on Reddit or whatever. But that was like I think we were like a fairly influential group of players.
I would say, not initially. I would say we were an influential group. Maybe around like 2014, 15 was like when we started to like absolutely destroy shit.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I'd say we were just a group that came together and built. Well, you guys built. I just fucked around.
That leads me to my next question. Kino, your kind of experiences at the land. Maybe any funny stories that you have from out there.
Well, okay. So I can tell you a few things based on what I remember. So this was after we all went to the land after Valk was destroyed. What happened was there was a backdoor plugin on 2B2T that allowed horses to be on the nether roof even though the nether roof was disabled. So problem was getting horses on the roof. Do you remember that setup that we had, Exalted Spartan?
I think so.
There was the you need to have the 9 or the 3x3 on the roof in order to get the horse up there.
Yeah.
With the mine carts and shit. I'm going all over the place. The question was specific experiences at the land. What I did at the land was I tried building a castle, and that involved gaping a ring in the ground, and I never finished that. I see, like, whenever I play Minecraft, I'm not good at building, and I don't find it really therapeutic. So I usually just give up on my builds.
I remember that one. It was near Brand's little shack, I think.
Yeah.
So Spartan, I want to ask you about your stone brick platform that you made, and what the context behind that is.
Oh, is it the circle in the sky?
Yeah,
Yes.
It was destroyed by pistol partners, I think.
Oh, that's the one.
Not me. There's no correlation between me and pistol partners, so you don't have to
That's fine.
to worry about that.
You know that kid? I got a.
We get confused a lot together.
I was just like doing homework a couple weeks ago, and I got a random message from someone on Discord, and they're like, "Is this the real Exalted Spartans?" I'm like, "Who the fuck are you?" And he's like, "You doxed me like years ago." I'm like, "What the fuck?" And then I'm like, "Is this the Pistol Partners, dude?" It's fine. I think we used to call them penis partners.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's like, "Yeah, it's me." And then let me see what he said to me.
He's like my evil doppelganger.
He's like, "It's Pistol Partners, but what's my name in real life?" I'm like, "Bro, I don't fucking know." And then he basically like asked me if I knew Drew Bookman, and I was like, "Yes." And he sent me like a Google Street View picture. He's like, it's like, "Who's the poor Mexican now?" or something. And I'm like, "All right, dude, whatever." And that was like my only interaction with him. Okay. But it was the first time he had contacted me, and like, whatever. I don't even know who he is, man.
I would like to mention though, I remember Tristan was one of the members of the lands.
Yes, that's true. I was gonna say that, but I wasn't 100% sure.
No, because I remember it had to do with the Sky Circle base. I believe him and Zarviar discovered the dupe, that led to that base, the cloning dupe.
So when we're talking about the Sky Circle base, I built like a couple of those. So I'm just trying to, because I built one at NFE in the sky. Is that the one we're talking about?
Right. Yeah, I remember that. That was the Obsidian one. I remember
Yeah.
in 2016 I was repairing that with Hardwax.
Yeah, Pop-Up actually helped me build that. That was pretty cool. It was so random.
We're talking about the 666K. Like, what was it?
Yeah, there
66.
There was one that I built with, I think, just Kino, and it had.
You built it. I just was
Yeah, he
there.
duped. You duped for right.
Yeah.
That one. I mean, I honestly, one of the things that like I'm known for, or at least amongst my friends on the server, is just for building circles. Some like weird autistic thing I do. So, do you know specifically which one you're referring to? Because I'm not clear.
Snow biome.
Yeah.
The snow biome one.
The snow biome one? Okay, yeah.
I think it was ours. Yeah.
That's the 66K, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That took so fucking long.
The thing at, what was it, the land? It was the big circular thing in the sky.
At the lands, I built the big white palace that was called the Taj Mahal.
Right.
Oh my
Taj
god.
Mahal.
You never
That
finished
rings a
that,
bell.
did you?
I got killed. So when Pop-Up destroyed my bed, I died, and then I was almost done with it, and I ended up dying, and then the roof was disabled. So I'm like, this is fucking pointless. Like,
I remember
not
that you
walking that far.
mined the quartz for that. You didn't
Yes.
dupe that shit.
like,
Remember how much experience you got for that?
like half of that palace. That house is fucking enormous.
It
And like half the
was.
quartz for it, I mined, and that took. Yeah, I spent at least like 3 months on that thing. Like, I wish I'd finished it, but I was probably going to in like 2015, and it ended up getting griefed.
Yeah.
So, yeah, keep laughing, buddy.
All right, so Kino, in my last interview that I did with Sato, he was talking about how you appeared at Valkyria to help them dupe. What are your experiences at that base?
Okay, so back in the day, something happened to my base. I don't remember what. I think I logged back in after quitting for a bit, and my base was destroyed. And then I was told by someone that like Sato 86 is like making a big base with people, right? And then I think I messaged him or he messaged me, and then we had like this trust test, and I went over to his base, and like it was cool and stuff. So you're asking my experiences with Sato or Valk specifically?
Also your experiences at Valk.
Okay. Well, me and Sato, what we did is we basically just me, Sato, and Pyrobyte had our little butt buddy group for a bit, where we would just dupe, and then like Sato or Pyrobyte would get really cool shit like illegals, because he was butt buddies with Tristan and stuff, and then we would all share them and stuff. So that's basically our thing. But eventually our relationship died. I don't really remember how our relationship died, but like it was me, Sato, and Pyrobyte, and like we tried wrecking shit, but we didn't really get off far. We just got really rich really quick. But Valkyria is where we all got together, and that's where I made the first stuff, and that's where I discovered the two dupes, the bow dupe, and then the minecart dupe.
Oh, right, that's right. That's why they called you the blacksmith. I remember when I went to Valkyria in like late 2013, there were like 10 double chests of Dragon Slayer bows.
Oh my!
None of them had fucking flame on them. It was terrible.
Okay, there's two bows I made. There was the Okay, so if you went to Valk, I don't remember what side it was, but when the ocean side, there's this skeleton double spawner, and they said they needed cool fucking armor. So literally all I fucking did, because I hated building, was I just sat in the grinder and I killed shit all day and I enchanted books. And the first thing I made was the Dragon Slayer bow, which was not the perfect bow. And the second bow I made, which was a god bow, was I think it was Kino's Falling Deity bow. I believe that's what it was. And
Yeah.
no one fucking took the Dragon Slayer bows because they weren't perfect, so they all just stuck up in that chest. But everyone took the god bows. So that's what.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's why the
Yeah.
chest is filled with it.
So, Sato also said you were the one to kind of find out Drew Bookman was taking some duped items periodically. Can you talk about
I
that?
honestly don't remember what the deal was with Drew Bookman. I just remember I can just remember this one specific occasion that I was very upset with him. That I tried to kill him, and he kept ender pearling away. And I was like, holy shit, I'm trash at PvP. I can't do this. So I just gave up. But I don't remember exactly what the deal was with Drew Bookman. I remember that we had some antipathy towards each other, and we got over it a few months later.
So, Exalted, you also kind of have a history with Drew somewhat. What can you say about the relationship between you two?
Well, I know I've met him in real life, because we go to the same university.
Oh crap! Yeah, I forgot about
Yeah.
that. You guys went to
It
the
was-
same university. Holy moly!
whole-
Tell me about
yeah.
that. What's Drew
The whole
like in
story-
real life?
Oh gosh. Okay, so let me just like tell
Do
the
people
story
make
of
fun
meeting
of his
him.
chin like on a daily basis?
Why do people
Holy
make
shit.
fun of his chin? Like people have chins. Come on.
Okay, so let me just start from the beginning. So remember how I was mentioning how we had before the show, I was mentioning how we used to meet in Tiny Chat. Mostly people from Volk, but one day we were doing that, and Drew had like something in like the background of his webcam, and it was the state championship or like some sort of medal from the same state that I'm in. And I just like asked him if he was going, like I just was like, I brought that up, and he's like, no, I go to UCLA or something like that. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like that doesn't make any sense. And then he PM'd me, he was like, yeah, I go to I'm not gonna say where, but he told me he went to the university. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go there in like 3 months or whatever. And yeah, I mean, he's like, I mean, I don't know. He's kind of just how you would expect him to be in real life. I don't.
An annoying being.
That's rude and uncalled for.
Yeah, I'm not
I don't know
gonna.
if this is relevant to the
I'm
conversation.
not gonna say that. He's a nice guy. Like I really didn't hang out with him like that much. So I mean, he still lives here. Like, and I see him around every so often. But we're not like, I mean, I don't talk to him every day, obviously. Like it's just someone I like see every now and then. I don't really want to go and like, because I'm sure a lot of people, like maybe some of the people watching or like you guys have a poor opinion of him. I don't really want to like reinforce that by talking about like real life experiences.
Oh boo!
I'm sorry. There was okay. I'll say one thing. There was like a time we were at God, this is so long ago, but there was one time we were at a party and
I remember that party. You Snapchatted me.
so
is that funny? Is he like an incel or something? Just can't hit on anybody?
He's not an incel. But one of my I told my friends about him, like I'd met him, and there was this girl or something. There was this one girl who was like talking to someone or something. I don't remember exactly what happened. I think one of my friends just like was like, that girl's into you, go hit on her. And he like went over there and like just got stuffed. Like
oh my lord.
It was kind of it was pretty cruel. Like I would not have done that. So I didn't even know they were gonna say something like that. And obviously like my friends in real life were being dicks. But it was pretty bad.
So, kind of hopping topics to Kino. You are very close with Jack the Ripper. Is that right?
I was at one point.
Very close to
Jack the Ripper.
So, what can you say about that whole friendship you guys had?
Well, it became strained after the exactly Russia invasion. I don't know what you would call it. It became a point where I just lost trust in the group that we had, so I separated from it. And it was due to a lot of factors. It was due to one, me selling items and exploits in Minecraft. And then before it was a thing for fun, and secondly, it became like a monetary thing. And that changed my value set towards a lot of things. But I still try to give exploits to the group whenever possible and when I thought was appropriate. And then there was a problem that I had with the group was they were leaking both my hack clients and my exploits to newer players, and I felt that to be inappropriate. So that was the main reason I stopped talking to the group in general. The group mainly comprised of Jack the Ripper and Parthicus. But my experiences with Jack is a smart guy. I don't. How would you describe Jack as a leader, Exalted? How would you describe Jack as a person?
Rip exalted Spartan dies in interview. Oh no.
Are you dead?
Sorry, I had to run for a second.
Did you hear me?
No, I had to go blow my nose.
Okay, I asked, how would you describe Mr. Jack the Ripper as a person?
I think I think he's a nice guy. Like I've talked about like real life issues before, and I think he's like a reasonable dude, and I think he's very motivated, especially on like when it comes to the server.
I would say that's a very good description of him. Very motivated.
I mean, like I think when it comes to like the stuff he does in real life as well, he's highly motivated. But to build some of the things he's built on the server and to have been as influential a player as he is, I think that takes a lot of motivation and commitment. And really, I think, yeah, I mean, like for example, like Spacewalk is such like a legendary base.
Oh yes.
I can't even think of another thing like that.
Also, for the record, Spacewalk was my idea. Remember Operation Treasure Planet? I'll say that every fucking day.
But yeah, I mean, God, he's been playing like really since the Face Punch people. So
January 2012.
Yeah, still going at it, honestly. And
he's ancient.
Yeah, he's one of those few like really ancient players. There's not very many of those.
Police Mike still plays.
Yeah, actually, I saw him on Constantium the other day. It was funny.
Yeah, he found friends with the new
Did
fags.
he quit for a period of like 3 years or something though?
Oh yeah, he came back for 2015, early 2015. We were making News Ion, and he left after that died, and Predator left and Cream of the Slop left. I haven't spoken to Predator since a couple of days before rushing.
So I want to ask Spartan a question now. I know I've kind of been asking you guys a lot about specific players, so I'm going to kind of make this one the last I ask. Spartan, what are your opinions on Zarvier?
I haven't talked to him in a really long time. He's kind of
Master shit poster.
Yeah, he's like that. That's a really good description, I guess.
Yeah.
He is like he's an interesting guy. I really haven't talked to him in a long time, but we played together for like the longest time. He wasn't much of a like he would build things occasionally, but when he did, they were actually fairly good. But most of the time, he just would like log on and just talk. Like he didn't do anything else. Like he would just shitpost and chat constantly, and I'd be like, "Do you want to like contribute to the building things we're doing?" And he's just like, "Fuck that! Like I'm just gonna
God bless
troll people." And I think he's probably one of those. Like I think amongst like people from the pre-Russia era, like there are people who griefed, there are people who just trolled at spawn, and there are people who built. And that's like the three categories. And I think he just trolled at spawn a lot and we grief occasionally. I don't know. Yeah, you can if you can ask me about other players too. Like I've have like strong opinions on like James and Fit. Mostly, I'm sure everyone does.
Oh
Honestly,
yes, I forgot I was going to ask you about your opinions on James or James Russell's. Daily reminder: he hasn't made a new quote unquote podcast in a month, even though
yeah.
he
I mean,
said he was going to be consistent. Unlike my interviews.
I always just like I don't think I ever really got along with him, and um, I think most of the people from like Jack's group didn't particularly get along with him very well. I personally
especially hated him.
Yeah, I personally think he's a huge attention whore, and that's like when it comes to like someone like Silent Pedro, like he's making a shitload of money for being an attention whore. Like, so I can respect that, even though I think he's kind of a sellout and he kind of helped to fuck up the server. He is like making a lot of money by being an attention whore and pandering to kids, but James is just an attention whore, and like his blog or whatever, or his podcast, I guess he just did. Like, I don't know. I just never got along with him, and yeah, I don't want to use like bad language or anything, you know, because I know this is a PG.
Oh, it's definitely not. I plan on having tuna on eventually, and it definitely won't
Ooh,
be.
yeah, that'll be fun.
Oh, good luck.
You want to give a headphone warning to the people on YouTube when that happens.
It would be a great guest.
Can I actually tell a story about Russell League really quick?
Absolutely.
I feel like I need to put this out there because I tell this story a lot to people that I meet in real life because it's just so funny. So back to like the tiny chat things we did. There was one night where I think it was like Khaleesi and me, and I don't know if Kino was there, but there were like 6 of us, I think, and Russell League was there, and the dude is like a fucking like parody of of a Minecraft player. Like he had gunners on, and I don't know what the fuck. He was like super loud, and at one point he took like a big bottle of sriracha, like a giant bottle, like not like the normal kind you find in the restaurants, like a huge fucking bottle, and he's like, watch this, and he just fucking took the cap off and just chugged the entire thing, and that's like so much sodium in that bottle. And everyone was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing? Like that. And he just like fucking shotgunned the entire thing. And we just kept talking, and it was like, dude, holy fuck. And within like 30 minutes, he passed out on stream. Like he was asleep at his desk on camera. We thought he died. We were so worried. We're like, holy shit. Like, yeah. So whenever I'm like hanging out with people in real life and I see sriracha, I'm like, you guys know I met someone on Minecraft who passed out from shotgunning sriracha. So classic.
Yeah, I have him on Snapchat. You know, he's living quite the life. He loves the hot chub.
Yeah.
Ah, God bless that man.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned a certain player earlier, Khaleesi, which I think would be an interesting question to ask you about, Spartan. So
Okay.
about Dotson Khaleesi and knocking on her door. What can you say about that
I did not
whole?
knock on her door. That's a lie. I don't know who's perpetuating that. That did not happen.
Well, what can you say about that entire situation with Khaleesi?
I will say that I'm not proud of doing that. I was like, I know 18 is an adult, but really I don't think you've learned the consequences of your actions at 18. So I completely regret doxing her. It didn't take that long. Like it took me like a couple hours, but I was able to figure it out. I don't remember her info anymore.
Danielle.
Yeah, Danielle.
Yeah, cut that out.
No, I honestly I kind of
I'll
respect her.
I'll do like a beep over that.
No, I feel like if I was a girl and someone on 2B2T found out like my personal info and where I lived, and then they found out I was like going to California to meet them, they would probably like freak the fuck out. And I
And
wasn't.
then quit.
No. For the record, I didn't go to California to meet her. I was just driving through California with a friend, and we were gonna drive through where she lived. So in the Valkyria Skype group, I was just like posting my Google Maps as I got closer and closer. And when I think about that now, that's really creepy and kind of frightening, honestly. But like literally, I was like, she was honestly kind of chill with it, and I just want to meet her. Not anything. I didn't think we were gonna get like married or something, you know? Maybe, possibly. No. My friend was like, dude, we can't wait here we were there for like 20 minutes, and he's like, dude, we can't wait in this town for that long. Like, we need to go. Because we had like 15 more hours of driving to do. And like 30 minutes after he left that town, she's like, oh, you should have just come by to this place and met me. I'm like, fuck. It's too late. I was so pissed. But yeah, I'm not like proud of doxing her at all, you know. I was just surprised initially that there was just like a girl who was like fairly attractive that played 2B2T. I'm like, there's no fucking way that there's someone like this on the server. Like, everyone's just an autistic incel or something.
What about Soda or Lola?
I mean, 'cause she had like major. I don't know if this is going to be on the record, but she had major drug problems, you know.
Yeah.
So she was.
Well, it was just
fucked
alcohol.
up.
I did. Okay, one time I was messaging her and I tried to get her to add me on Snapchat. And she gave me a Snapchat, and then I got a picture of someone's like hairy ass balls when I when I messaged it.
Classic.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know when the last time she played was, but yeah, don't dox people, kids. It's bad.
So, Kino,
Mhm.
something very interesting happened surrounding you a while
Oh.
back during April
What's the time
1st.
period?
The Kino map crisis
Oh, that's
was a
funny.
big revelation in the community. What can you say about that?
What exactly do you want to know about it? I suppose
Just how
is the
the-
question.
How the situation came about and what the community reaction was.
Well, okay. The first time, I think it was Baba J and some other kids who overloaded the map limit, right? I don't remember who that was. But when I heard about that, I first hypothesized that it was possible because it just didn't make sense that maps didn't exist over 32K or however many it was. I believe it was 32K. So I assumed it was just a short overflow error and it rounded into negatives. It couldn't parse to whatever. Not the point. So I hypothesized it was possible based on the map limit. And the second thing that I did was I tested it with a friend and a different server, a private server that we had, and we just we made it work. Like I wrote a little script on Minecraft and whatever. I'm going all over the place either way. I hypothesized, I tested it, it worked. So that was cool. We did it because my friend at the time, who I don't talk to so much anymore, Nuka or Turtle Soup is in, or Mason, Mason is what we called him. He wanted to make a map of Chihaya, who was his anime wife, for her birthday. So what we did is we spent, I believe, 2 solid weeks making a map, just so we could make every map and 2B2T her. But I didn't want to destroy all the maps on the server, so I told House what I was doing beforehand, and I got him to back up the maps. And then I don't remember what day it was. I could just Google Chihaya's birthday. Let me do that right now. Idol Master Chihaya birthday. And I know we were a day late. It was February 26th. That's when it was that we did it. So yeah, an oversight is that you actually have to look at the map in order to load it. So a lot of maps that we did were like very blank because we dropped them as soon as we opened them, you know. But
Yeah, and
that's
I
what
got
happened.
I got my dates confused a little bit while back when I mentioned that it was not on April 1st. That was a different incident with you, which I also want to bring up.
The
Uh,
April 1st incident was I talked to
yes.
Housemaster. We sent a series of emails, and I discovered that he wasn't doing an April 1st event, to my dismay. And so what I offered to do at first was I was going to write him a series of plugins for him to run on April 1st. And he didn't like that because Housemaster was, I guess he only accepts plugins from people he's okay getting backdoored. So he didn't take my plugins. So I wrote him a series of loot tables instead. And then he put it on the map, and then we had a jolly good time. But I saved April 1st. That's really it.
Were you able to recreate the legendary 32k weapons, and then you're also selling the exploit?
Which exploit?
The one you used to recreate the weapons.
Oh no. One, I didn't create the weapons. The weapons were created, I believe, by Tristan via his backdoor. Someone, it was.
This was around May of 2017.
Okay, what happened was, Tristan left information in his, I believe, Bitbucket. Was it Bitbucket?
T-Zone.
It was Atlassian, whatever Atlassian uses. T-Zone? What do you mean?
This is T-Zone. That after I destroyed Imps, I tried to dox Tristan. I released his T-Zone, which had a world download of Imp base, Frickin's Mesa base, and the master stash of Pyro and Tristan.
Okay.
Kane's Law found it.
Yes. Okay. So where did you release this?
Just in the public chat. Kane's Law found it and gave it to Jack the Ripper. Jack must have given it to you.
Oh, what happened was Jack the Ripper, Kane's Law talked to Jack. Jack and Kane's Law went in and they stole the fucking good shit. Right. Got that good shit. And then we stored it in a bunch of furnaces at ground, I believe it was 4, y=4. And then we unloaded the chunks and we never went back into those chunks. We was afraid if we did, we would despawn it. Now, what happened was I went back to a stash that was mine and Pyrobytes and Satos at the time. And I believe Tristan was using it for a bit because when I went back, it's changed from the last time I went there. We had pig spawners there. So I believe in total there was 30 of them. And it took me 8 of them to learn how to successfully take them out of the item frames they were stored in. So once I learned how to take them out, I duped them. And after duping them, I learned how to handle illegal items. Once I learned how to handle illegal items, I went back to the furnaces, I recovered the swords and the pickaxe, and then I named them and I gave them to Jack, and then we all had a jolly good time. But I didn't create them. It was Tristan who created them. And then I guess it was Jared who leaked the location of the place. Kane's Law and Jack, who stole the 32Ks, and me, who learned how to recover and handle illegal items so I could distribute them.
Yeah, so I haven't asked Spartan a question in a while, kind of been leaving them hanging.
It's all right.
So I wanted to ask you something maybe a little more, not more of your experiences, but something maybe that you feel about the server. What are your thoughts on maybe the modern 2v2T, what it's become in this sort of climate that it's in now?
I mean, it's just hard to like. There'll be days like I really struggle with the queue specifically. But I don't think that like new players are necessarily bad. I think that they're healthy for the server. It just sucks that there's so many of them, and I think that a lot of new players probably won't understand like or can really comprehend what the server was like before I got flooded with so many new players. I've always said that I don't think I really liked Minecraft so much as I liked 2v2T. Like they were separate things to me. Like going and building with a friend on like a local world is just a completely different game than 2v2T. And all like the factions that are involved and just the history between players and the like landmarks. And it sucks because I think if we had just had like a trickle of players, we could have built up to the amount that we have now without the entire community being destroyed. And I was watching your interview with Jack. I know you guys were talking about going on Constantium, and you just see all these names that you actually recognize, and you. I mean, I can't speak for like the 14 or 15-year-old kids who play on the server now, but I feel like I never see that anymore. I'll maybe see like 1 or 2 people out of like what is it, 150, and that's kind of a bummer because when that happened, like I'll still play 2BTT every now and then, but it's like a different experience, The only thing it's like redeemable is that you have so much history on the server, but being unable to even like participate in chat is it's just a downside because I know that a lot of people, like I was talking about Zarvi, are just being in chat. Like, what purpose does he have to stay on the server if it's just a nonstop flood of like spam and bots and 10-year-olds,
Yeah, it's depressing what say the server has turned into now, especially with all the bots. I think that's what I mentioned a lot in these interviews when I asked people that question.
Yeah. I think if they'd had like maybe if we had like a death timer when this first started happening, it might have dissuaded a lot of players from staying with it. But I mean, did House sell the server? I'm sorry, I'm not super caught up.
I'm not sure if he has or if he's not. There are theories, but I don't know if it's been confirmed.
Well, it's turned into something that makes so much money from Q that like they're never gonna do away with that.
I know that he works, or at least he worked past tense. I don't know if it's present progressive with Rusher and to monetize the server.
Yeah, Housemaster doesn't own the queue, and he has people that develop plugins for him for the main 2BTT server. I think he still owns the map, though. I don't know where the money goes because he has a lot of leftover cash.
More than a lot, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Someone did the numbers. It's like 60,000 left over per year.
Like I could probably be motivated to play on the server again if I found like a group of people, like for example, that were at Kinograd. Like that was probably my favorite base ever. And when that got griefed, it killed a lot of my motivation to play.
So yeah, that's what I wanted to know a lot about. You weren't you both at Kinograd?
Yeah, I think I was the first person there, and then
I know I wanted you there because you were my buddy at the time.
What were some of the experiences at Kinograd? I know Ormonger was there. That was his kind of base he started up. What were the?
We just had like a group of people that was mostly Valkyrians, and then it was just like some, like obviously Ormonger was there, and we had some new people like Varga Girl and.
Varga Girl or Monger vouched for. We had Yellowstone Joe too.
Yeah, so we had a lot of like really, really good builders there, which most of the time bases would only have like 1 or 2 of, and we had like 8. So we were able to build, like the base was not there for very long, but we were able to build like a ridiculous amount of stuff for like the 2 months it was up. And then that ended up getting, like I personally, I built like the big circle that was underneath the giant sun in the sky. And I cleared like a 400 or 500 square block of land to build like a gigantic castle on. Unfortunately, the lightning dupe, and I don't know, weren't people teleporting to the base using the bed exploit?
Nobody teleported. It was Tristan and Clyde who went there using the boat exploit, which was new at the time.
Okay.
So you finish first. I'll talk about it after.
No, I was just gonna say that like I could be motivated to play on the server again if I found a group of people like that, but it doesn't seem likely, like that base was really one of a kind, in my opinion. But
it really was. But, a few things though. Really, I feel like the essence of 2BT really was just the chat, because I felt like 2BT was a community, Like back in the day, I would go on 4chan and just shitpost on the anime board, and I felt like a sense of community. But I also felt like 2BT itself was a community. There's people I'd go on and I'd see every day, and like I would share very intimate details about my life, and I would learn a lot of intimate details about other people, And the sort of trust that I had telling about things about myself just isn't there anymore, which is one of the reasons why I don't think 2BGT is the same. If that makes any sense. But, regarding
as long as you're not
base-
an Imperium, as long as you're not an Imperium, your secret should be safe.
Oh no, I said some really messed up stuff. Not really messed up. Like I remember the day I lost my virginity, the first thing I did was I went on 2BGT and I talked about it.
Yeah.
I remember that day.
Yeah, I would do that. I would do that stuff all the time. Like I would come on and I would just candidly talk about like depression, and it's like even people that I wasn't like basing with, like Jack or Kino, like people would just there'd be like one person or two people that would be like lol or something like that, or they'd like start trolling, and everyone else was like really supportive, and they're like shut the fuck up, like people that I didn't even like talk to. It's because there was like a group of like 50 to 100 players that just knew each other and had been playing together forever. And like, yeah, I think people would come on and like share details like that because they just trusted the server, essentially, like the community that was involved. And fuck, dude, if I went on, like, if Kino went on the server now and was like, I lost my virginity, that no one would even see it. Like, it's just a fucking nonstop flow of garbage now. In the chat,
like, I've talked about like my family, my health,
yeah,
like, what was going on in my life, and like I trusted these people, you know. It's just it's different now, you know.
Yeah.
All right.
Second thing I was gonna say, and
yeah.
Sorry for interrupting. I wanted to finish the Kinograd base. It was Brunillan, excuse me, who griefed it, and it was because we were supposed to get backdoor access. I don't know if you remember this, Spartans, but we're supposed to get backdoor access, and Brunillan was working on it for a while, and it was Sato86 who blew the whistle, and so in order to screw us over, Brunillan got with Clyde and Tristan to grief our base. So, yes.
Yeah, bummer.
Well, on that depressing note, I think we can kind of end this off. We've been talking for about 50 minutes now. I think this has been really good. Unless anybody has any final statements. Yes?
Yeah, before we go, I just want to mention the fact that I killed Pop Bob. That's all I want to say. I was one of the first to do so. That's my claim to fame. That's the only reason I'm relevant at all, if you can say that. I know we didn't touch on that, but that was probably like my favorite moment ever on the server.
I remember that. He lagged out.
Yeah.
I know his client broke or something and he couldn't log out in comp. Was that on Brony Pride?
So do you remember the spawn teleport glitch?
With the beds?
So there the STP command that you could put. I don't know.
I was a new fag when that was around. So
we, like me, Zarviar, and Jack, and I think one other person, were like planning to. Pop-Up was the only person with stacked armor in the game, so he's just basically invincible. And we wanted to hear. He was just talking so much shit in chat. So we had this one base that we just had regular items at, and we initially tried to ambush him and like knock him off of a platform or something to the bedrock. He ended up just killing all of us like super easily and just continued talking shit in chat. So me and Zarviar were just decided to keep grabbing diamond swords from our base, spawn teleporting, and just hitting him as much as we could. And the idea was that we would just wear down the durability on his armor to piss him off. And he lagged at one point for like 10 seconds. So we were just able to hit him like without interruption, two of us for 10 seconds. He had anti-knockback on, so he was just standing there. And we fucking killed him. And he flipped out in chat. Like he could not handle it. And he was just like, he started teleporting to spawn and just letting himself die to people so that the kill message I got wasn't like unique. And then he told House about the exploit and got the armor patched as soon as we had our hands on it.
Yeah.
Pretty funny, in my opinion. But
was that around the time of Big Nick's Tower?
Sounds familiar. I think so.
Yeah. Mid 2013 was my favorite rendition of Spawn, with all those netherrack flaming pillars.
I
Yeah,
remember that,
and all
yeah.
there were so many like end chests on the just that made up the terrain. Like,
And the rails,
yeah,
with no
holy
lava
shit.
caps, just pillars of flaming nether.
Honestly, my favorite renditions of Spawn have been the ones where the spawn was static, because those were just hilarious. Like just killing people and like bed trapping people. But bed trapping is fucking malicious. So I wouldn't do that anymore.
Yeah.
When I was first told about bed trapping, I genuinely like felt sick. Like, I'm like, this is horrible. You're just preventing people from playing forever.
Oh, that's great. Are you kidding me?
It's even worse nowadays. You can create a shulker of ban books, which bans people from the server effectively.
Yeah, but House will fix it. You just email him. He'll fix it right up.
Yeah. Rarely responds though.
He does, doesn't? Oh.
He doesn't respond to people who he doesn't recognize. At least not usually.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much else we can talk about without like a specific thing to go on. But I mean, I just want to say that like the server was like part of what defined me, like my life for like 4 years or something. So it's still like really important to me. It sucks that it's almost unplayable now, but you know, it is what it is. You just move on.
Yeah.
Well, I think this has been really good. I enjoyed having all three of you on. I guess Jared's more of a co-host. So yeah, this has been good. DrEnderPickles signing off.
All right.